Hey everyone, people are constantly ripping on me for not liking and even maybe hating the Nintendo 64. So I thought it'd be fun to break down and count down my top 10 favorite N64 games. The N64 games that even the haters like me can love. If you enjoy retro gaming content, top 10 videos, reviews, all that good stuff, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications to all. You can also join the channel if you want to help support it. And don't forget to hype the video if you want to help out for free. Now let's get started. All right, here at number 10, we've got Mario Tennis. I really enjoy this game. There's nothing more satisfying than spiking a tennis ball into Yoshi's nose. I've just always been a fan of arcade-style tennis games. I'm a huge Virtua Tennis fan. And this game is kind of like a simplistic, nice way to play tennis. It's a good way to play doubles with people that aren't as hardcore as somebody who would play hours and hours of Virtua Tennis. It's a really good pick up and play arcade tennis game. The characters have like a variety of different strengths and weaknesses, and it just plays very well. So you can't really go wrong with Mario Tennis on the N64. Next up, we've got Wave Race 64. I absolutely love this game. As you'll notice in this video, some of my favorite N64 games are racing games. For whatever reason, the console has a ton of fantastic racing games. Wave Race 64 is different from the rest, in my opinion, because of the water mechanics. You definitely have to like kind of cut into your turns, and you're dealing with a bunch of different waves tossing you around and allowing you to take angles off of. This is just a very unique game. I don't believe there was a racing game similar to this before it, and there's not very many, honestly, after it either. Wave Race 64 is an absolute blast. I like just screwing around in this game. My favorite thing to do in racing is to try and just win the whole race while holding a handstand. For those of you that don't know how to do this, you just let go of the gas, you tap down, then hold up, and then you can go back on the gas. And as long as you're holding up on the joystick, you can still steer and everything. You just gotta keep that upward angle on your joystick. And it's just an absolute blast. There's a stunt mode, so you can do tricks like backflips and barrel rolls after hitting jumps. Apparently, you can also ride the dolphin. I've never done that before in my life. Wave Race 64, a fantastic and unique racing game on the N64. Next up, another and the last kart racer on the list, Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing has kind of like a single player campaign mode. You've got a ton of different types of vehicles. You've got like hovercraft, you've got your car, you've got flying vehicles, a great cast of characters. You can even play as pre-alcoholic Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day in this game.
Well, there I am, Conker the King. King of all the land.
I just really enjoyed the characters, even though like a lot of them, this was the only game they ever appeared in. I just thought it was a good cast, and the gameplay was just really good. I feel like this one is quite a bit better than Mario Kart 64, even if it's just because of the large variety of stages and ways to play those stages, right? You have a different variety of kind of like vehicle types you can utilize. As much as this one was fun to pick up and play with friends, it was also a blast to play through the single player mode because it had a little bit more depth to it than just a regular ass tournament that most kart racers feature. So yeah, Diddy Kong Racing kind of goes above and beyond. To me, it's comparable to something like Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation 1, which I grew up playing a ton of. I really love and appreciate Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. Next up, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. I loved this game. I only played it for the first time quite recently, like maybe like 5 years ago or so, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I didn't know what to expect because I gotta be honest with you, I don't like the visuals of N64 games for the most part. I just don't like the way they look, and when I saw Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, I was like, oh, this looks pretty bad. But once I started playing it, honestly, it was a blast. It's probably one of my favorite Kirby games now. now because of the mix feature. Normally in Kirby games, you can swallow an enemy and you'll get access to their ability. If you swallow like 2 enemies, it'll do like just this roulette and you'll get like a random ability. But in this game, you can swallow 2 different enemies and you can mix and match, and it gives you even more variety of attacks and abilities. I thought this was really cool, and I don't think any of the other Kirby games ever did this again. The mixing of abilities to make new and unique abilities was way ahead of its time, I feel like. The story in this was really good. The gameplay was what you would expect from a Kirby game. I love the Kirby franchise, so I was personally very impressed with Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Next up is Conker's Bad Fur Day. Yes, I know, a lot of people wouldn't consider this one of their favorites, but I've just always had amazing memories of this game growing up. This was actually one of the first N64 games that I personally owned once I ended up getting a Nintendo 64. I'm not a big 3D platformer guy, so in order for me to appreciate a 3D platformer, it has to have some other kind of element, and holy shit, does Conker's Bad Fur Day add some extra elements. There's tons of references to pop culture and other like movies and TV shows and video games, of course. It's just a comedic masterpiece in my opinion. The game is absolutely hilarious. Yes, you have to have that 1990s, early 2000s teenage dirtbag sense of humor to appreciate it. I just love the different varieties of gameplay as well. You got your standard 3D platforming, but then you've got like this crazy like third-person shooter stuff going on. When it does the whole like Saving Private Ryan scenario, you've got like stuff ripped right out of the Matrix. You've got stuff out of the Alien series. This game is just hilarious and pokes fun at everything. It's just the ultimate parody satire of that time period, and that's the time period I grew up in, so I really appreciate that. Next up, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. This game is a complete blast to play based on the classic original trilogy Star Wars series, and it puts you in the cockpit of your favorite Star Wars vehicles. You've got the X-Wing, the Y-Wing, the B-Wing. You can unlock the Millennium Falcon. I think you can even unlock a Naboo starfighter, if I remember correctly. The game has you playing through a series of missions that take place throughout the Star Wars movies. It feels really cool to be taking part in these battles that you sometimes hear about or see happening in the background of the movies. It adds a lot more depth to the Star Wars universe, and I just really enjoyed the controls for this game. This game was the first game that really felt like you were in and a part of the Star Wars universe back in the day. I love how each ship is a little bit different, and it allows you to experiment and see what ships work for what types of missions, and it's just overall an amazing game that allows you to see all these different planets from the Star Wars universe and take on the Empire. Next is Harvest Moon 64. This is probably the N64 game I spent the most time on. I feel like I did everything you could possibly do in this game when I was a teenager. I had played Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo before playing this, and it was fun, but it wasn't nearly as good as Harvest Moon 64 in my opinion. I just loved the community in this game. The characters were amazing. For some reason, building your farm just felt that much more satisfying on the N64. There's always like these different little side stories that are going on. Of course, there's all these little contests you can enter. I loved raising the animals. I loved clearing out my fields and planting all the different variety of vegetables and harvesting them all. It's just a really good kind of slice of life game, and it's something that you could just pour hours and hours into. So if you're looking for a game that's kind of slow paced, has a great community, and you're just gonna have a good time living in that world, you gotta check out Harvest Moon 64. Now we're getting into one of my favorite racing games of all time, and that is F-Zero X. This game took F-Zero and just cranked it up to 11. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy F-Zero on the Super NES. I enjoy F-Zero, I think it's called GP Legends on the Game Boy Advance. That's probably the one I played the most of, but there was always something like missing when it came to the F-Zero games. I feel like the lack of multiplayer was always like a bit of a setback as well. F-Zero X takes the formula of F-Zero and just adds this great 3D element to it. It does things that the original could not do. For example, there are parts where you'll just like drop off a ledge or a road, and then it's up to you if you want to nose up and try to gain a bit more distance, or if you want to nose down and gain a crap load of speed. I love the in-air controls. I also, most importantly, love what they did with like the remakes of a lot of these stages. There's a variety of different big blue stages, and they also add like tunnels that you can go inside, but most importantly, you can go outside. You can drive around the parameter of like these cylinders, and some of the racetracks even have you like driving upside down, so the track will look like almost like a straight line if you look at it from above, but then if you look at it from the side, you're like going up the wall, and half the track you're driving upside down. I love the variety, and I love what they were able to do. They really harnessed the third dimension when it comes to F-Zero X. I thought they did a phenomenal job of that. They could have just phoned it in and made it just F-Zero that happened to be in 3D, but to me they went the extra mile and really integrated the 3D aspect into F-Zero X, and they made it work so well, and to this day it is still my favorite F-Zero game of all time. Next up, in my opinion, the second best N64 game of all time is Star Fox 64. I don't think anyone can deny how amazing Star Fox 64 is. It's just one of the best on-rail shooter games of all time. It's got a ton of high-action stages, there's multiple different branching paths, and your actions in each stage determines which route you're gonna go down. It's not just you finish the stage and then you're like, okay, which way should I go? No, little things you do in each of the stages are gonna determine which route you're gonna take. There's multiple endings. I just love the characters in this game too. It's not often that you have a cast of characters in a rail shooter that all bring their own different personalities to the game, and their personalities determine their playstyle as well. I just feel that the game is really well designed. It's got some top tier villains. I mean, everybody remembers the big fight against Andross. Of course, Star Wolf is an absolute legendary villain as well. This game is top tier and is still the best Star Fox game ever made. And last but not least, the greatest N64 game of all time, especially if you're not a big Nintendo or N64 fan, is Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber. This game is a cross between a real-time strategy game, a tactical RPG, and just like your standard JRPG fare. It's got an amazing story, it's got some great characters, and the gameplay is pretty damn good as well. I'm not a big RTS fan, but the way you interact with your characters and you go from kind of like base to base, you're taking over these bases, battling the enemies, retreating when it's intelligent to do so. I just thought that this game had a lot going on, and I thought it did what it is trying to do very well. The story is absolutely incredible. I don't know of any other N64 game that has a story that even comes close to that of Ogre Battle 64. If you enjoy great storytelling, great characters, and are a fan of RPGs or JRPG elements, be sure to check out Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber on the N64. Well, that's it for my favorite N64 games of all time. Let me know yours down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all. You can also join the channel if you want to help support it. If you want to help support it for free, just go ahead and hype the video on mobile. It helps out so much. Thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.